Hello everyone, Enzo, Andrew from Home Theatre Engineering.
How's it going?
This is our demo room. We have Gerben here. Gerben is from Procella Audio.
Thank you, yeah.
And also does Kaleidescape. Last night was our VIP night. We had a very successful evening.
Yes.
And we have another event on tonight. And we thought we'd sit down with Gerben to discuss all things Procella, Kaleidescape, the who's, the whys, and what we're doing.
And I think the important thing is, part of the reason obviously that Gerben's here is the equipment in this room. You know, when we went through the options as to what was available, we wanted something very special, and so Procella and Kaleidescape came out as two of the must-have items for this room. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about both the speakers and the Kaleidescape.
Wow, that's a big one. So first of all, thanks for having me, and thanks for having the equipment in your amazing demo room. Fastest developed demo room ever. I think you guys called me not even 4 months ago.
Not even
about the loudspeakers. And between figuring out what to do and designing the room and agreeing on all the details, which there's a lot of, and then actually shipping them over from our factory in Sweden, and they're working fully integrated, fully calibrated, and played in, which is important for a demo night, that you have your system played in. It's all happened, so really well done doing it that quickly.
Thank you very much.
I think that's actually a lot of the energy that Andrew and Enzo put together is not just talking about it, but actually doing it. And that is for somebody, you know, like myself, who we supply equipment. It's great to have a dealer here in Perth that brings that energy to the table and therefore to the customers at home.
No, thanks very much. Now, you obviously were here for the demonstration last night, and you know Procella better than anybody. We know that, you know, I guess very few rooms are perfect, but what was your impression when you saw the picture and heard the sound in here?
Well, first of all, I've learned a lot about the picture from you since I've been here. The audio is, look, it's true Procella form. It's what we call the Procella effect, where you walk into a room and you go, oh wow, that sounds good. And it's LCR, it's the left, center, right, the integration with the image. Of course, we're having the benefit of a woven, acoustically transparent screen. It immediately sounds like a well-founded front stage. And you know, that's where the movie starts, and then the surrounds kick in, and now the Atmos that we have kick in. It's a very nicely integrated room, and that sound stage is really what Procella is well known for. I mean, we're playing the little wooden guy, Groot. What's his name?
Yeah, Groot from
Groot,
Guardians of the
Galaxy. And he's at one point, whilst the battle is going on, tapping.
You can hear his feet.
You can hear his feet tapping, and you know, we love that little detail. We love hearing everything in the mix.
Which I've never heard before.
Yeah.
And I've seen that movie 5 times.
See, but you get sometimes a sound system that can do the big stuff, but in the trade of them doing really loud stuff, they don't do the small detail, the finesse anymore. And with Procella, you get all of it. You get the finesse, you get the detail, but you also get the big explosions. And like we were listening to your better half singing in her recording yesterday, music is beautiful on the Procella system as well.
And I guess it's important for those that probably don't know Procella, maybe give them a little bit of how Procella started. So my business partner Anders, who's in Stockholm, and myself, we used to work for DTS in London. This is 2002, 2003, and we were working for DTS on next generation technology. So this is everything to do with DTS HD and DTS DCI, digital cinema. And because we were developing this next generation technology, we needed for ourselves, for our own purposes, a theater, a small 30-seater theater, where we could play. At the same time, we would be able to play cinema source material, but also DVD, Blu-ray source material. So we needed both hi-fi and cinema SPL dynamic range. And of course, it's nonsense to have two sound systems in the same room. So we developed a speaker system that could do both within one system. So it's both the hi-fi requirements and the cinema impact, where you get that jump out of your seat effect when the big crescendos happen and the big explosions happen.
It's really interesting you say that, because Enzo's heard me say this a lot. People turn around and they talk about, you know, music speakers or hi-fi speakers and video speakers, and you know, when I talk about this, like this rubbish, it's
a good speaker.
True replication or faithful replication of audio is faithful replication of audio. And I think that what I've learned by having Procella in this room is that's kind of really vindicated that belief for me. And when you listen to music in here, and it's just
stunning.
Yeah, and look, even like last night, I sat in here from 6 till 9 doing demos every 15, 20 minutes. And standing in the corner of the room and watching everyone's faces, kind of the expressions and the excitement and everything, it really kind of concretes what we do and why we do it. And I think a system like this really brings that Hollywood studio reference cinema, which sounds better than a commercial cinema. Because last night we had the manager from Event Cinemas was here, and he just said this sounds better than gold class cinema.
Well, that's all right.
And that's
so you were here for the best part of the evening, several hours. How were your ears afterwards?
Oh, the thing is, no fatigue whatsoever.
No.
I've got to say, in all my years, you watch them, even my own, stuff at home or at friends' houses, after, 2.5 hour game of soccer, a movie, playing a bit of PlayStation, you kind of get rattled a little bit. This was at like 70% volume from 5 till 10 o'clock at night. And it was fine. Yeah. It was more than, it was so comfortable.
So the reason for that is that, the system we have here is a top-notch system. It starts at the Kaleidescape, fantastic source. It goes through the Trinoff, through the Procella amplifiers, the lab group and amplifiers, into the Procellas. All of that is top-notch quality, and the distortion levels are so low that what reaches your ears is such pure audio. There is so little distortion in that audio that reaches your eardrums that listening fatigue just doesn't happen.
No.
So what's the secret behind that, Gerben? Why is that different to a lot of other speakers? Why are we getting that really clean sound at those high SPLs?
It's purely because the Procellas are designed for that purpose. So when Anders and I started, I said, look, I want to have hi-fi, and hi-fi sits here. And he said, but I need cinema SPL as per THX reference level requirements. And we said, well, where do those two curves meet? And they meet there, up there, where you have the best of all worlds. You have the hi-fi quality, and you have the THX reference level requirements. And if you then design the loudspeakers to meet both of those requirements, you then just end up with that result. You can play very loud because it's fun, and you can play all the big explosions and all the big crescendos in the music, and you still get hi-fi quality at those levels. So it's purely because they are designed for that purpose. What we did not design Procella audio loudspeakers to be is veneer in 3 different colors of wood and
I've got to say,
chrome rings around the woofers or something.
Procella speakers have got a great face for radio, right?
But
you'd have to say.
Is that a bit like, no, that's right.
They're not really. I mean, and to be honest, they're probably not the prettiest speakers.
But they're not designed to be.
But they're designed. That's what impresses me. They're loudspeakers, and their job is to make sound.
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
So there's 11 speakers in this room that we can't even see.
Yeah,
okay, there's 6 on the ceiling that we can see, but the 3 behind the projection screen and the 6 and the other 9 in the surrounds, we can't see them because you've incorporated them into the acoustic treatment panels and behind the screen, of course. So what's the point? And in fact, we don't want chrome and shiny bits because when you shine a powerful projector like we have here onto your projection screen, and if there was something shiny behind the projection screen, you would. It's
coming back at you,
So,
but look, I like the concept that a loudspeaker's been built and all of the investment has gone into making it make great sound.
Yeah.
I don't want to know that I've paid $10,000 for polished oak or
a chrome ring.
Chrome ring or something.
See, but this is why Procella Audio is now in the CEDIA headquarters USA in the reference theatre there. That's why it is in Vision in the UK, in London, reference demo theatre there. We supply Procella audio loudspeakers to the rich and famous of this world, most of which whom you'll never hear or read about because those projects are, not to be published. So, we do really high-end projects with Procella Audio, and I think that the big benefit for us that you guys have now taken on the brand for WA and by extension for the rest of Australia, people can come here in this very room that we're sitting in right now, hear the demo that we were playing last night for all the guests, and hear exactly what we've been hearing and make up their own mind. So you just call up,
email these guys and say, I want to come around, you'll hear it for yourself.
Absolutely. And I think what I like is that Procella caters for a range of sizes, and we were talking about this before. And the only difference, you know, one of the things that when I'm designing a room is I want consistent sound reproduction from all the speakers. And I've noticed when I'm doing test tones around this room, I basically can't, and this is a first for me, it's much harder for me to tell which speaker's on other than position, because the tone, or the timbre, of the speakers is pretty much identical. So for the first time I'm going, okay, it's that one over there. Whereas before, the LCRs and the surrounds always kind of leapt out because they were different, even ones that are supposed to be tonally matched. So the difference between the speakers, as I understand it, is, you know, for a small you've got these speakers, then the next one doubles in power and doubles in power. So
when you go through the range, like the P6 is twice as loud as the P5, the P8 is twice as loud as the P6, the P28 is twice as loud as the P8 again. So you just you measure the room, you measure the seating distances, and you match the distance and the size of the room to the loudspeaker to be used.
But you don't sacrifice any quality.
But they all sound exactly the same.
Which I love. So what we probably should do is go through, you know, what's in this room in terms of audio. So we'll get back to the Kaleidescape in a second, but that's our source at the moment for video, which of course is where the audio comes from. That then goes through a 16-channel Trinnov altitude. And then that altitude is sent off to a bank of 6 amplifiers. We've got 2 Procella amplifiers, and then we've got 4 Labgruppen amplifiers, which run the rest of the channels.
So we supplied those as well.
You did too, yeah.
Procella Audio supplies amplifiers to go with the loudspeakers. Those amplifiers are made OEM for us by Labgruppen, by PowerSoft. What we do is, of course, we brand them with our logo, but we program the DSP. And that means you can dial in which product you're driving.
You nominate the speaker inside.
It's all there, and basically your Friday afternoon setup is done. You can then listen for the rest of the weekend to a system that is working, to play in the loudspeakers, and then you can come back and do your fine calibration.
And some of the, I mean, one of the numbers that really impresses me is one of the subwoofers, the P18, has 2 18-inch drivers, each one receiving 1400 watts of power, which is like ridiculous.
Crazy.
Well, we need that much power in our subwoofer because we're playing so much louder in the LCRs, and that means that the subwoofer needs to step up to that same capability as well, and that means power. And you know, it's that power that brings the fun to the room, because when something exciting happens in the movies, you'll feel it.
And that dynamic range, we were listening to the Dark Knight, and the rifle shots in the street. That is the most realistic gun sound I have ever heard in my life. I mean, that is a rifle crack like I have never heard before. That is ridiculous. So the rest of the room, you can probably see some of it behind us. You can see the gold panels. So they're actually acoustic panels. They're our own design and manufacture. But built into those are the P5V Procella speakers. So there's one in each of these panels. And then, of course, there's there's a subwoofer in every corner. And then we've got the 6 P5 Atmos speakers as well. And that sort of brings the room together, essentially. So what else can we talk about with the sound? I think that's sort of...
No, I mean, like, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, there's a lot of people that have asked what's in here, and I guess, you know, we've kind of outlined that. And
well, I'll jump onto one more point, is the acoustic treatments. Of course, you guys make your own panels with the absorbers inside. And, you know, in a good room design, it's very important to have the appropriate amount of acoustic treatment in the room. I mean, you can throw $100,000 worth of audio equipment into a room. If it doesn't have acoustic treatment, it will not sound to its best capabilities. And this room has, you know, just the appropriate amount of absorption and bass trapping happening, and it really helps this room sound as good as it does.
And the room is actually challenged, and we will be honest about that. So we've had
it was an existing room.
Existing.
So we had very little options to what we could do with the room. The room wasn't purpose built for the cinema. We've had to fit the cinema into the room, and you know. But that's part of what we do.
But let's talk about Kaleidescape, right? Because for me, it's been like since I was, I reckon, 18 years old. I remember going to a store here in Perth, and they had a Kaleidescape, which was like a jukebox that you loaded all your CD, and I was like, I'm going to buy one of those. And then by the time I became 35, now we're streaming, we're not putting CDs in anymore. But this thing is just a weapon. It is very unique, and I want you to explain a bit more in detail, because there's a lot of videos that talk about quickly what it is, but I think people really need to understand why it's so good.
Okay, so it is not a streaming device. First of all, this is not streaming. It's not like Netflix. It's not like anything else. It's not streaming. What a Kaleidescape is, it is a server where you buy the movies online from the Kaleidescape store. So you go online, you buy whatever movies you like, and they then download to your hard drives forever to keep, and you can play them as many times as you like, and they will be in the very highest video and audio quality available. Better than what you will get on your Blu-ray disc. Why better than what's available on your Blu-ray disc? Because the Kaleidescape is such a good machine as a movie library that in the last couple of years, the US movie studios, all the execs, all the managers there have adopted the Kaleidescape as their in-office personal movie library. So these guys use the Kaleidescape as a working tool for their VIP cinemas, for their own TV screens that they have in the office. What happened subsequently is that the movie studio said, oh, if we're using the Kaleidescape for our own purposes, we must make sure that our movies that are on the Kaleidescape database are looking the best they can possibly look.
The best, yeah.
So what they're doing is they're actually uploading better quality video files, audio files to the Kaleidescape server than you get on your Blu-ray disc. So we now see some of the marquee movies, the big blockbuster movies coming out in 4K HDR in file sizes that are larger than
the disc size.
A disc size.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does, like it's 50 gig or something, the disc total size. Well, we see movies coming through Kaleidescape that are now 60 or 70 gig, just because they maximize the video quality.
There's no disc compression. Oh, yeah,
There's no compression. That last step of rendering preparation for the actual disc image isn't being done on these files. So they're basically the largest files as they can make available, so that they can then download it from the Kaleidescape
and use it for themselves.
Use it for their own purposes. So we're kind of benefiting from that particular situation. Hollywood is full of Kaleidescape units all over the place. So what it means for somebody in Perth, you go online, you buy a bunch of movies. When you see the marketing for the movie, like Moana 2 is coming out, I believe, soon, and you just jump online, and what you'll see is the movie's not yet available because it's still in the cinema, it's still pre-release, and you pre-order the movie. When the movie is finished in the cinema in America, it goes into a home theater release. That is when it downloads to your Kaleidescape automatically, because you've pre-ordered it a couple of weeks earlier.
So sometimes a few months before we get it here.
I wouldn't say months, but definitely a couple of weeks before you buy it here on the disc. So it's very high quality. It's download. It's available early as it can be. You know, typically earlier than disc here in Australia. You can. You know, on this unit here we can put 200 movies, but you can then delete movies again. If you then regret that you deleted Avatar, for instance, you can then re-download Avatar because it still belongs to you. You still have it in your account. If you're
well, one question someone asked last night is if you delete it, does the artwork stay there to remind you that you do own it?
No, it'd be in your account. So when you go online on your laptop and you look at your account,
back of house,
there it is available within your purchased library, so to speak. But it wouldn't be on the screen on your TV.
And the artwork is just gorgeous.
We'll put some footage up with this video. We've got some other footage that we shot. We're staring at the menu right now. Actually, it is incredibly beautiful. It is really easy to use.
It's in CinemaScope.
It's in CinemaScope.
It's in 4K.
It's amazing, and the great thing is, as you select a movie, then it actually regroups the movies. If you're in what do you call this mode?
Cover art mode.
Cover art mode. Yeah. And it selects appropriate movies around it, which is fantastic. One of the questions I guess a lot of people say is, so why is this different from a disc player? Like fundamentally, you've talked about some of the advantages. The thing that hit me is, man, this thing's so easy to use. When you have an evening where you go, I'm going to put the movie on, and you grab a few discs, you put it, no, I don't like that one.
It actually makes you realise how annoying it is to put a disc into a player.
This thing is fast, it's efficient. I mean,
no trailers, no FBI warning, no nonsense before the movie. You get the movie sooner, you get the best quality. You can just order a bunch of movies online without having to go anywhere, and they download automatically.
No scratch discs by the 4-year-old.
No wrong disc in the wrong cover.
Case.
There's so many.
You can't lend it to your friend.
You can't lend it to your friend.
That's a good one.
And then, Kaleidescape, you have an account with the store. So the store actually starts recognizing your preferences, and it will recommend, if you like this, you like that. It sends you an email once a week saying, oh, this is available. You want to pre-order it? Yes. And so on. So it's luxury. It's just a really luxury way of purchasing and consuming movies. And, yesterday morning, was it yesterday morning or the day before? We sat down and we did our script.
Yeah, yesterday morning before.
We all love showing off our home cinemas, our home theaters, okay? So, listen to this, listen to these explosions. Well, in Kaleidescape, you can actually cut your own little scenes, the best little clips from each movie, and it could be 10 seconds or 10 minutes or the whole bloody movie if you like. And you can put all those little clips together and make it into one script. You hit the play button one time, and it will play as many of those little scenes as you
Which is what you were doing last night.
Which is what I was doing, and funny because when friends come over to my house, I'm going, let me show you this, and then you got to put another movie
the same
in.
one, yeah?
And then you end up playing the same one, but then you got to change discs. I read last night that there's a guy that actually set up all the Lord of the Rings Lord of the Rings movies one after another as a script. And it's just a continuous play.
Yeah, there's another guy who made a script out of the Kill Bill movies. Because the Kill Bill movies start in the wrong end. They start at the end and then go to the beginning. And he clipped all the scenes, put them in the correct order, the wrong order, and then you can play the Kill Bill movie start to finish, rather than finish to start.
And look, we've be perfectly transparent. This is not necessarily it's not a cheap piece of gear in both senses. But value, this thing is just fantastic.
It pays itself.
It's so enjoyable to use. So, if you're putting a serious home theatre together, there are a few fundamental things that really should go into every home theatre. A Lumen video processor.
4 subwoofers.
4 subwoofers. And a Kaleidescape. It's something really worth looking at. At the end of the day, as they say, the price is forgotten, long before sort of the quality. What's the saying?
Well, I guess once you spend the money, once you spend the money, what I mean? You kind of forget about it completely once you're immersed in the experience.
It's not cheap, but it's actually not that much more expensive than cobbling together your own media server with a NAS drive and all the software that you need to load onto that. You're going to spend $5-6 grand on that as well.
Yes.
Don't forget that. It's like, hey, it's a big expense, but it's not that much more than doing it.
I did a job in Melbourne, and he's done an amazing server up. But by the amount of storage he's got is ridiculous. Plus, he's had to sit there and rip every single disc one at a time, or in fact, in his case, I think 3 or 4 at a time. And then put them onto his server and then use them. Whereas this thing is, once you've got it, it's just you order your discs, walk away, come back and watch them.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So there you go.
I've asked Santa for one.
So, this particular Kaleidescape is my demo unit, so that's coming back to Sydney with me. But I believe
that's what you think.
I'm like, Gerben, this smells like chlorophyll. No, that's right.
Tomorrow morning on the afternoon with a broken jaw.
You think you're getting out of this room alive, don't you?
Oh, too funny.
So look, thank you for joining us in our new demonstration room. This is, I think, the first video that we've shot in here. I hope you like the look of it. We're really, really glad to have you here, Gerben, and the fact that you've actually made the trip, and look, this is another thing too, the people that we've associated with in terms of the products we put in here. First of all, nothing in here has been given to us as a showpiece. Everything we've done is we've selected and we've paid for. So, and on top of that then, Gerben and some other folk that you meet shortly have all, basically made the effort to come and see us and to be here for the opening and the presentation. So we're very, very grateful. We feel very special, but we also feel that we've got a great team behind us.
I've learned a lot being here from the other guys. Actually, I've picked up a wealth of knowledge about
projectors,
video, and all the color gammas that are out there. I've learned a lot.
So no, it's great, mate.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. There'll be more videos coming. Let's catch up then.
Yeah, don't forget to ring the bell, subscribe, and thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel, and let other people know. Share away.
Follow Procella on Facebook as well.
Absolutely. Cheers,
Please
guys.
do.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Nice one.